brand too. This guy's beating on my car, continuously beating on my car, banging, and they won't allow you to ignore them. Their technology doesn't allow for that. It doesn't allow you to ignore them. It's a game. It's a game, and that game must, even the making of this video, means that their technology has been successfully accomplished. He's sitting there beating on my car for 5 minutes. Here I am parked at the hospital, across the street from the hospital, VA hospital. That's not normal, people. There's nothing normal about that. It's a game. And the fact that I'm forced to make videos and document that it's happening, it just means that their technology has been successfully accomplished. It's nothing but a game, and their provocateurs are everywhere, especially in the big cities. I mean, they have them everywhere. It's a game. It's a game. There's nothing normal about that. You sit there and beat and stop in the middle of the street, block traffic, and beat on someone's door for 5 minutes. There's nothing, a total stranger. There's nothing normal about that. It's called organized stalking. And that organized stalking is dependent upon what's called gaslighting, Occam razor principle, hypergame theory, and other models of deception and manipulation. They're going to force me. If I didn't pull out a camera and point it at that person, he'd still be beating on my door. But the fact is, they don't even care about the videos. If you make videos, it only proves that to them that their technology is working properly, because they have forced you verifiably to respond to them. But the victim can only minimize the torture and the terror by making videos, trying to document that it's happening. You see, it's a catch-22. It's hyper game theory. The game never ends, because there's always a higher optimum to choose from. More stalking, more stalking, more stalking, more gaslighting, more gaslighting, more gaslighting. Because there's always a higher optimum to choose from, there's always a next move to be made. So no matter what the victim says or does, there's always something else to be done. There's always a higher optimum to choose from. Because there's always a higher optimum to choose from, there's always a next move. It's called the hyper game theory. He's sitting there, not just beating on my window, but he's laughing at me. Total stranger. I don't know who this is. I'm in the city. There's 1,000 cars around me he could be beating on. You know, it's a game. It's a game. They're going to force you to perpetually respond to them at regular intervals. These hive mind team members come on every 8 hours. They come on a new shift. That new shift is every 8 hours, and the victim, you know, if he's smart enough, he can begin to determine the shift changes. And with the hive mind team, says those shift changes are a fatal flaw in their technology, actually, because within a short period of time after they come on, they have to verify integration completion between their brain, the supercomputer, and the victim's brain. And the only way they can do that is by forcing the victim to respond. Synaptic responses for whole brain emulation, breaking the brain of the victim down to the synaptic level. In order to prove that they've come online, the new shift, the old shift is now departed, the new shift has come online, and in the process of between that predictive integration, they've got to prove that their integration completion has occurred. And the only way that they can do that remotely is to force you to respond. So every 8 hours, approximately 8 hours, give or take, they're going to force you into these scripted mind games, like total strangers beating on your window and car, not just my window, my car, and laughing. You know, this is the game, people. It's a deadly game of deception and manipulation. And these people are already, many of them are not just provocateurs, they're already turned over to the technology. It's already too late for them. There's no hope for them, not in this life or the next. It's over. And people who don't understand that don't understand the technology. When a person was demon possessed, if a man or woman could get to them in time, a man or woman of God could get to them in time, then they could exorcise that demon out of them and save their soul. They might die shortly thereafter, but they could be saved, spiritually saved. Their soul could be saved, will, intellect, and emotion. Once this technology is in you, and once the cognitive model is complete, You know God or you don't know God. And if you don't know God, you never will. It's over. And anyone who disagrees with that doesn't understand the technology. Now, there's a caveat to that, and that is the sovereignty of God. He'll do what he wants when he wants. But the point is, the Bible specifically tells us about this mark of the beast technology. I'm firmly convinced that this is part of it. It may not be the final form, but I'm firmly convinced that everything that's happening with the Frankenshot, okay, and all the street theater and gaslighting that targeted individuals go through, that this is part of that game. They're using victims to remotely tie other people to the supercomputers. So everywhere you go, they're using you as a nexus, as a conduit to remotely tie new people to the supercomputer. It's a game. If I didn't point a camera at that person, he'd still be beating on my car window, because that's how the game works. Beating on my car. Never mind, they've already damaged it multiple places. They're still beating on my car.